Welcome to Wild, Women in Lending Determined to Make an Impact. I'm your host, Robin Lavasser. They say our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's being powerful beyond measure. In this podcast, I will share how to break through imaginary ceilings, lean into success, discovering your purpose, and understanding how to create the business and life of your dreams. From failures to triumphs and all the tactics in between, let's jump into the wild arena together. Welcome back to Wild with Robin Lavasser. I am going to share a tactic today that truly is a tactic, but it might feel a little frou-frou, if I'm being honest. And it did to me the very first time I did it. So we've all sat there. Well, maybe we haven't all, but my guess is many of you that are listening have sat there with a poster board and did the magazine cutouts. And I've done those same things to create vision, manifestation, right? Dreams, goals. And one of the things that I love is we all learn a little differently. I know that I am a verbal processor for the most part, but there is something fun about pictures, right? My husband will tell you, I don't read a ton of books, meaning he doesn't, because he likes to look at pictures instead. So those vision boards with pictures and words and manifestation, the truth is there is something to it, right? I think a lot of us have heard of The Secret, which is, really manifesting and putting things out there that we want to happen. And I think it's more subconsciously, but actually conscious when we understand not only what we're trying to create, but really understanding the why behind it. And we're starting to envision not only what it looks like, but how to get there. And so there's two different parts to that in general. One is the vision piece of it, right? And the vision is way more direction and inspiration. And then the goals are specific and measurable, but you understand creating and then achieving the goals is what leads you to the manifestation, i.e. the execution of the vision. I didn't understand all of this. And I call it the mortgage roller coaster my first 6 years of originating. I felt less in control, less inspired. I felt very busy, very engaged, if you will, working hard, trying a lot of things. But the truth is, I truly lacked clarity. I understood a bit of the why because it's always, feed the family, take care of things, make sure that we, can give the children the life we want. I can give you 100 canned responses to all the things. But the truth was, I didn't understand that I had so much more power in what our life would look like in the future. And the best thing about being an entrepreneur or being in a business in general, and you could also do this as a W-2 wage earner. So I don't want you to think that you can't do this unless you're 100% commission or an entrepreneur. But the truth is, when you're an entrepreneur or you're 100% commission, which is really synonymous, right? You have the freedom to have no ceiling. There's no cap to what you can make. There's no cap to what you can save. There's no requirement to how many hours you do or don't work, which means you're the holder, you're the controller of all of the outcomes. Every last one of them are yours and yours alone. What a beautiful thing when you think of it. It can feel daunting and overwhelming at the beginning. And the truth is, we're better under direction of somebody, right? We're better when we have surrendered some and we have those mentors in our lives. And a wise mentor of mine assigned to me years ago. And so I'm going to give you just a little bit of backtracking. When I joined the company that I'm at now, it was late in 2010. In 2011, my life was pretty messy, but I had just finally began coaching about 6 months into that. And then in 2012, 13, 14, I really started to at least drive towards numbers and better consistent origination. That was working. I was taking tactics like understanding leads and logic/data around my business. All of those things were coming to fruition, but I didn't have a vision and I was losing the why portion of it because my finances were finally really getting in order, which meant that scarcity or that stuff acquisition was already happening. So what was my life going to look like? Here's what's crazy. There's two different types, if you will, 5-year visioning in general. And one of the things I love to do with clients and with referral partners with anybody is constantly talk about, where do you see yourself in 1 to 5 years? What does it look like? And it's interesting. People generally have a hard time answering. They haven't even thought that far ahead. This doesn't mean we're not living in the present, but they really struggle to dream. That's what I find. They really struggle to dream. Now, despite all of the dreams and everything that I've had, yes, there are still hard things that happen in life. There are deterrents, there are frustrations, there are setbacks, and then there are huge advances. When I worked through a worksheet of 5-year vision, and then here was the key component for me, and I think this one is so overlooked by people, to really put it in a vision. And when you really put it in something as a vision, you are writing it out. You are putting it on display for yourself. You are telling yourself a story that you believe you are truly the narrator of, and that you can then take the story that you've written and understand all of your goals, all of the things that you do should have some alignment with that vision. And so I did the worksheet, and it would say things like 3 places you want to vacation, 3 things you want to buy, 3 accomplishments you want to achieve. Maybe it's running a marathon, writing a book, starting a podcast, all the different things, and kind of gives you a breakdown of like, it's the bullet points, but it didn't have the heart, right? The story is what gives you the heart. The heart is what then connects the head. Hopefully between those 2 things, it tethers the action that you need to take. And so I want to share a little bit with you, taking back from 2010 to 2015, I did the work, the grind, the goals, and the goal setting. But then a little bit of the burnout sets in, and I started writing the 5-year vision. So my coach assigned me a vision in 2015. And I spare me for a little bit if you understand or have listened to my very early podcasts about how I got here and why I love to share my journey. I'm going to read to you my 2015 5-year vision for a second, and then I'm going to jump and just give you a couple things. So, and I'll paraphrase a little bit. And so it is in writing, and I'm happy to share this with anybody. I'll email it out in addition to the templates of how to build and some examples. So don't be afraid to shoot us a message and say, hey, I want some framework to do a 5-year vision. And then I'm going to be a little selfish and say, even if you're a perfect stranger and you're open to it, I'd love to see yours. I'd love to understand it. I think that people's visions are so beautiful. And I know that I wrote a little conservatively my first few times, and I'll tell you how I did that. But let me go through 2015. So take you back. You figure right as of now, it's essentially 10 years ago this year that I wrote my first 5-year vision. It says it's spring of 2020. Baseball season is in full swing. Griffin's a sophomore in college. That part didn't happen. And playing baseball. He still plays softball, but he had already graduated by then. So the triplets are seniors and will be graduating in a short couple months. Spoiler alert, COVID happened. They graduated. I wrote this in April of 15. They graduated in March of 2020 because of COVID happening. We're swamped with spring sports and planning grad night and trips to celebrate their accomplishments. I'm emotional just thinking about our kids potentially not being out of our home and beginning their journeys as young adults. It says Andrew is married with 1 child and 1 on the way. So this would have put us in 2020. And by 2020, technically, Andrew was married with 2 children and 1 additional baby on the way at that point. It says he has bought his first home. He's actually now bought his 3rd home, but at the time he had bought his 2nd home during this window of that 5-year vision and doing really well. He actually bought his 3rd home. I take it back. He was on his 3rd home, and that's the home he lives in now. John and I are about to have our 22nd wedding anniversary and our 25th reunion. We are stronger than ever and ready to be empty nesters and relish in being quasi-grandparents to Andrew's kids. Andrew's are adopted. We're technically his aunt and uncle, but we've had him since he was essentially getting out of the 8th grade. We are buying a home on land that is suitable for entertaining and a laid-back lifestyle. In-laws quarters, and we are able to have our parents on site if needed. I am in a worship group at church, and John is leading middle school and high school groups. We haven't accomplished that yet, so this is still in my 2 times later 5-year vision. We have great friends. We have been to New York City and to Washington, D.C. So we have been to New York City. Washington, D.C. is on our pathway. Actually, we're going here in just about a month. I no longer drive a mom mobile. That's a true statement. I have finally lost the weight, and we are in the best physical shape of our lives. That happened, but it took us almost 7 to 8 years on that. Business is great. We are consistently closing 25 loans a month. That happened. And my juniors each close 5 a month, which brings our total to 35 loans a month. Pre-COVID, we were averaging 400 units a year. After COVID, we were doing 6. And when I stopped technically originating, I was on the path to break the record of 681 units, probably pushing 700 that year. It says, I have an override on the branch, and I train and coach for both Summit and the Core. I'm officially a Core coach, manifesting that at the time, and have won the Blue Dragon 5 times. That actually happened. We have given to many charities, both in time and money and love. I'm the number one lender in Oregon in purchase business and developed a few business accounts. Number one lender in Oregon a couple years in a row. I work 35 hours a week. Not true. The lowest I've ever gotten it down to is 45, and I'm very comfortable at 45 to include coaching time. And John is still working his normal schedule. I've started writing a book about a small town girl who wanted it all through life and realized the meaning of having it all. I am humble. I am a leader. I am grateful. I am closer than ever in my marriage, my family, my friends, and mainly God. So that was my very first 5-year vision. I'm going to take you to 2000. Here's what's crazy. I wrote that in April of 2015. In December of 2017, I had to write a new one. And here's why. Everything that I stopped and said, that happened, this is that, all happened within those 2 years. And once you achieve 80% of your vision, you need to write a new one because you aren't big enough, right? You need to dream bigger sooner. We say it all the time. I say it all the time. I try to live it as frequently as possible. So in 2017, I wrote a new one and said, how is it already December of 2022? Think about this. I'm envisioning December of 2022 because it's currently December of 2017. John and I are in our prime of our 40s. We hike a couple times a month, really good with being empty nesters, all true. We travel for the core and summit trips, in addition to some amazing long weekends and trips with friends and family. We have been to Tennessee, taken the kids to New York, had a couples weekend on the East Coast, and watched a baseball game in Boston, still on the list. The property that we bought is awesome. We have built our shop. We have an in-ground pool. We have the best entertaining setup. We host all the holidays and have an annual major barbecue in the summer with friends and family and coworkers. We celebrated 23 years of marriage. We pray together, respect one another, push each other, and are to be the best parents and spouses and to other people that we can possibly be. Andrew and Lauren have 2 little ones. They have 3. Landon is 4 and has already brought so much joy. And the newest is just 2 years old. Didn't know who she would be, but that was Olivia. And then the third is Liam. They have bought their second home. Again, they're on their third and final. They live right next door to us and are celebrating 4 years of marriage. Griffin is 22, found his path and is taking great steps in establishing a career. He has a great relationship and has started to talk of marriage and kids. That was all a true statement. In fact, Griffin got married in 2022 and was expecting his first child in 2022. Calvin, Allie, and Peyton are out of high school and have had their first couple of years as official adults. They all stayed close to home. That is true. And are figuring out life's next steps. They're all very connected to one another in the family, but exploring what life has to offer. We are so proud of all the kids and the hearts they have. It's a joy to watch them find themselves, and even better for all of them to remain great friends, which they absolutely are with the 4 of them, the 5 of them, and John and I. Our finances are in great order. So still was building and growing in our financial status in 2017. We have savings accounts for each of the kids to purchase a home. We were able to gift each of our kids 20% equity in their first home. And we have a net worth of over $1.5 million. We have no other debt than our properties. That has been true and exponentially. The core has been so good. I'm a senior coach and travel a few times a year to do visits on-site training with students and teams. Summit has been in my life for 12 full years at this time. Crazy. I am number 1 in the company in units and volume. I was number 1 in the company before I changed roles. We have an awesome region of 20 loan officers feeding into our branch. I run the branch with an awesome ops and sales manager, have that in place. And the team is 12 people, including LOs. We're actually a little bigger than that in Eugene, and I didn't anticipate where I was at now. So this is 2022. Keep in mind, my employees are happy. They make a difference to one another and to our clients. They have great personal lives and are achieving things they never thought possible. I'm a big presence for corporate, for training and systems and growth, while being a wonderful example of behavior and business building. I consistently earn $1.2 million a year. All of those things took place exponentially when you think about the job shift that I had at the time. Let's see, I have had a loss. I've had some loss, but with love and God, I've been able to find a light in everything life throws my way. I'm impactful and purposeful, humble and joyful. If I died tomorrow, my funeral would be full of people saying I made a positive difference in their life, and Jesus would welcome me with open arms to reconnect with those who have already gone. The Frenchies are happy as can be on their little Frenchie farm, and they love our chickens. Now, this is December of 2017. We didn't own land. We didn't have chickens. We did have some Frenchies. We had one grandchild, obviously. We didn't realize that more were coming. Landon at this point had been born, but that was it. It was just Landon. And actually, he came in March of that year. So pretty crazy when you really think about all the things just in that little manifestation. And here's the thing. What I've learned, you guys, is now I laminate 5-year vision. I write one every time I have 80%. And I went a couple years without a 5-year vision when post-COVID hit and things got a little wonky. And I realized very quickly that it was one of the key components missing. Now, do I touch and look at this every single day of my life? The answer is no. But the truth is, I know it in my heart of hearts. And I stop and I look down on occasion, especially when I'm feeling unmotivated, frustrated, a little lost, misguided, like I am off track, if you will, and I need to be rerouted, no difference than a GPS. I can set every goal and do every task in the world, but without clarity of vision, the truth is I'm blind and I can't keep walking forward. And I think so many people need to give themselves permission to dream bigger. And so my vision for November of 2029, which will give you an indication that I wrote this about a year ago. And I say in this, it's taken me a long time to write this. My last vision was written in 2017, post 2020 and 2021. After a change in title and a major shift in the industry, my vision simply lacked clarity. I write this for reference to reflect in the future on never losing sight of my vision again. Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people will perish. It's November of 2029 and we are knocking on the door of the next decade. I'm officially in my 50s, 51 to be exact, in the best shape physically and emotionally. I have written a book. I maintain a podcast and lead Summit Sales with daily engagement, coaching, and speaking nationwide. My leadership has grown into aspirational and impactful. I'm a top mortgage executive in the country. I have made measurable impact on loan officers' desires to lean into career, personal growth, family, joy, and success. Todd and I are discussing my current role's evolution, and I'm seeking God's wisdom for clarity on my desire, skill set, and capacity of what's next. Summit is officially at 500 loan officers, averaging 6.5 units per month. We are working on a 10 units per loan officer average. I will retire not anytime soon, knowing we achieved our mission that sets the bar for any mid-sized mortgage company industry-wide. The sales leadership team, alongside our operational leadership, led by Todd and myself, have incredible synergy and aligned vision. We are known as generous, gracious, and gritty. I love answering the phone for every person in the company. We have a culture that is unmatched industry-wide. We have helped countless employees develop their highest skills, achieving their best results. There is a line at the door of people wanting to be part of our elite sales force. We are known nationally to referral partners as the best strategic and valuable lender partner in the business. Our client reviews top the nation in 5 stars per transaction. Next level coaching is changing lives and helping transform the company with Jim and Marjorie. I love leading and growing the company and pouring into all of our coaches. We are an elite and mid-sized coaching company. The Eugene branch is truly a business within a business. We are growing, and I am close to a full handoff to leaders who are passionate to pour into the current and future of our own loan officers and team members. We consistently close 250 units. This last month we did about 160, so we're on our way, and we have achieved an average of a 4-day work week for our employees. We remain a top example in the entire company for leadership, operations, culture, and results. Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. John and I hike, walk, lift, and stay accountable in taking care of our bodies and our minds. We fast a couple times a year, cold plunge, sauna, share and read books, share podcasts and prayers. We are engaged in New Hope in a volunteer capacity. We just celebrated a little delayed 25 years of marriage with an almost 2-week trip abroad. We've got that booked for 2026. We remain supportive and intentional in ourselves, each other, and our family. John is officially done with work. He was able to retire, other than giving his skills to others without swinging the hammer. He has developed a few hobbies he loves, travels with me, and hunts, and continues to find places of need where he can be a go-giver as that fills his cup. He is an incredible dad and advisor to Young. Our marriage continues to be a 10. Our happiest place is to be together in both quiet and in chaos. All of the kids are in health healthy marriages. All of our kids are now married, navigating the mid to late 20s and adulthood. Their families are growing. We spend incredible time with them as couples, as families, and as friends. The joy and engagement we have from all 10 of them, plus grandkids, is a beautiful gift. We take one large family trip every year to different locations and love the memories that are made at each of them. We're approaching 10 million in cash net worth. The house is almost paid in full. That leaves us debt free. We own a second home close to Allie and Jackson and balance our time in Central Oregon and the Valley. We have sold Scottsdale at a profit and paid off the remaining balance of our second home in the Crescent Lake. We generously give to New Hope, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and Casa de Mi Padre. We travel to Guatemala every 1 to 2 years. Almost all our family is engaged in Casa, as is our local community, and a team from Summit serves Guatemala annually. We have a team for the first time going down this October. But the Casa compound in Kihei for the children is completed and flourishing with support of the mission financially and in faith. I've made a significant impact on 10 people, helping them achieve the Kama Kama Club by coaching and developing them in their business. We've remained intentional in our friendships, extended family, and putting people first in our lives. Our ID, intentional direction, is not only clear to us, but known, felt, and impactful to others. We do everything knowing that the glory is only for Him, as He is the light, and we will continue to walk by faith. My favorite Bible verse, John 8:12, I am the light of the world, and he who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So here's my challenge for you. And thank you for letting me take a little trip down memory lane. The truth is, if you know me or if you don't know me, if you followed anything, you could see, and I always say this, I share mine because it's my story, but the truth is it can be yours as well. So define your why. Really look at your vision and then set goals that align with it. Make sure the vision is something that when you lead it, then you read it, you feel butterflies in your stomach and maybe a little lump in your throat. And as you continue to look over it over the 5 years, maybe sooner you would have to rewrite it, you recognize what is happening and maybe where you're off track and is it still really part of your vision. It's okay for things to change. It's okay for the future to look a little different than what you anticipated, but not making progress, feeling uninspired and stuck. This business, especially entrepreneurship in general, commission in general, is too hard to not dream so big that everything that you have to go through is very much worth it and in alignment with what your future can be. I'd love to hear from every single one of you about your 5-year vision. I hope this was helpful. I hope you share it. Join us at the 10X. We are doing vision planning in October, Phoenix, Arizona. We'd love to have you join us at that 10X. If you need details on that, shoot me a message as well. I'd love to get it out to you. Thanks for listening to Wild, and we'll see you on the next episode.